I'm Nicole Berry with the Berry team and eXp Realty. I hope you're doing well today. Wanted to come and speak with you a little bit about something that's very important in every real estate transaction in North Carolina, and that is the Working with Real Estate Agents brochure. This little brochure is very, very, very crucial in every single transaction that happens, and really almost every day when you are talking realtors with potential clients. You need to be thinking about the Working with Real Estate Agents brochure, and is it a good time to share that? When should we be sharing this? And this video is not just for realtors, but for also for consumers, because as a consumer, you should have a conversation about this. You may be seeing this actual brochure. You might see it in digital form. And it's very important that you understand why realtors have to do that. And so this brochure needs to be talked about at your first substantial contact. What is substantial contact? Substantial contact is anytime that you are talking with a consumer or consumers talking with a realtor, and they are going to give some personal information. So it might be motivation. It might be their financial situation. It might be a specific need that they need for buying a home, or a specific reason why they have to sell a home. So it could be, hi, my name is Joe Blow and I need to sell my home because I just got a job transfer. And so we're moving to Raleigh and we've got to sell this house now. And I really want to get $350,000 for it. And beep, that is a code words. Those are trigger words that in a realtor's mind should be thinking, I need to go over the real estate agent's brochure, Working with Real Estate Agents brochure with them. So another option would be someone who's buying a home. Hey, I really want to look at this piece of property because I need to have enough space for my chickens and my goats, and I want to be within, a few minutes of my child's school, and this is the school, and this is my price range. Those are all trigger words for an agent to say, hold up, before we go any further, let me just explain agency to you because North Carolina requires it. And I want you to be fully aware before you share any more information with me so that you know how agency works in North Carolina and you're protected. This is for the protection of the consumer. This is for the protection of the consumer, but it's also going to protect you as a real estate agent if you do it right. If you don't do it right, then you could be in some hot water. And I just went through a class with my continuing education, and they talked about this so much because it is so important. It's one of those things that a lot of real estate agents take for granted. They don't do it properly, and it can come back to bite them. So let's just talk a little bit about what it is and why we have to do it. So inside this brochure, it's going to talk about different roles that real estate agents can have. So there's different roles. You could be a buyer's agent where you're representing just the buyer in a transaction. So you are looking out for their best interest, your buyer's best interest. They're already your client. That means that they have signed a buyer's agency agreement with you, and now they are your buyers. You are representing them as a buyer's agent. You could be a listing agent. You are representing the sellers in a transaction. You have a listing agreement in hand signed by those sellers, and you have full authority to be able to market their home and sell it with them, help guide them through the selling process. You represent their best interests. Many times, the interest of the listing, of the sellers, and of the buyers, sometimes they're mutually exclusive. Usually as real estate agents, we try to create a win-win situation where both sides feel as if they have had a good situation dealt their way. And that's our main goal, is to make sure that everyone feels great in the transaction at the end of the day. But sometimes they're mutually exclusive. And so those agents are authorized to work on behalf of their client's best interest. There are also times where you may be a dual agent. A dual agent in North Carolina means that you might have a listing. Maybe you've already started marketing it, and then you have a buyer who says, wow, I really like that house that you listed over there on ABC Street. I want to buy it. And so now you are a dual agent. You're considered a dual agent. And the only way that you could be a dual agent is if both your sellers and your buyers agree in writing that it's okay for you to be a dual agent. When you are a dual agent, you can no longer give your personal and professional opinions about price or really any part of the transaction. And so through the negotiations and the repairs after the inspection, you can't really tell your buyer client, hey, I think you should ask for the carpet to be replaced because the sellers already thought that the carpet should be replaced. You can't do that because now you have to look out for both the best interest of the buyer and the best interest of your listing, of your seller. And sometimes that can be mutually exclusive. So you become really just kind of a go-to, a messenger of the situation. And so a lot of times in a home sale, especially when there's inspections that need to be done, things like that, that can put you in a pretty precarious situation. Your clients need to understand that before they walk into that kind of situation. And that's why working with real estate agents helps them to understand that ahead of time before they even get to that part. And there's also something called a designated dual agent. So when you get a listing, agents, when you get a sale, you're going to be selling someone's house. Really, your firm, your brokerage has that listing. And so I work with EXP. So when I get a listing, EXP has that listing. Well, in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we are, there's over 800 EXP agents. And so one of them very well could bring a buyer to my listing. And so we have EXP on the listing side, we have EXP on the buying side, and a designated dual agent says EXP has both sides, but Nicole might have this side and Keely might have this side. And so EXP is representing both sides, but these are going to be designated. I'm going to be designated toward the listing. She's going to be designated toward the buying. And so we can still mutually agree to not share information that would affect anything in the sale or the purchase of the home. And we're going to each work on our client's behalf. And so that's a great situation, especially when you have a big company that's going to have lots of agents all over. So a designated dual agency is a great option. And working with real estate agents is so important because you have to explain what these scenarios are before you get there. Once you get into a transaction, once you get into a home and your buyer wants to buy it, they need to understand what your role is. And so in my next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what our roles are when we are agents representing a buyer or a seller. But make sure that you do this at first substantial contact. After you share this with your client, there is in this brochure, and you can get these brochures, real estate agents. There's a Realtor store in Charlotte at our MLS office. You can get these, I think they're like 25 or 30 cents a piece. They're pretty cheap. And it's a great way to be able to just hand this to them after you've talked to about it. Don't just hand it. You have to actually explain it, but they can have this and look over it when, they're in the car riding in between houses or something like that. There's also a digital form that many of you might have on your transaction platform. And as long as you've already gone over it, you can do it as a digital signature. But after I do this and go over this with them briefly, it doesn't have to take super long. I'm going to talk to them and ask them to please sign it, to let people know that this is just for my records. This actually tears off, and I can keep this for my records. It has their printed name and their signature, just to say that I've gone over it. And on the part that they get to keep, it has my agent name, my license, my firm name, and the date. You should be having many, many more of these filled out, realtors, than you do clients. Because you and I both know that you talk to somebody about a house and there's substantial contact that happens way more than you get people to sign buyer's agencies agreements or listing agreements. And so you just need to have this on file. You need to have like a shoebox of them or put them in your file folders just to have, because this is what's going to happen, real estate agents. If something goes awry in your transaction and you get called to the real estate commission because there has been a complaint against you in your practice, a lot of times the real estate commission is going to look back and see what your how your practice really works. And so they're going to look back and say, did they have the working with real estate agents? Okay, if every single one of your working with real estate agents signatures are the same date as your agency signatures, then they're going to start wondering, like, when did you really go over this with them? Because did you just send it to them in like a big packet full of things that they have to sign that they might not really understand agency? And so having this at your first substantial contact, telling them this is not a contract, this is just me sharing with you how agency works in North Carolina. Please sign it. If they say, I'm not signing that, and there are going to be some people who are skeptical, they don't want to sign that. That's fine. Just say, that's not a problem at all. I just wanted to let you know that I was going through it with you. I'm just going to write right here your name and the date, and I'm just going to write up here that you chose not to sign it at this time. And but I'm going to give you this still. If you have any questions, you feel free to get back in touch with me. So agents, this is going to protect you. This is also protecting the consumers, but it's going to protect you if you do it right. If you don't do it right, then it can come back and bite you in the tail. And I just want to bring this out because it's really important that real estate agents operate in a professional manner and do so with the utmost integrity. And so this is the first step in doing that. I hope this has helped you. Again, this is Nicole Berry with eXp Realty and the Berry team. And if we can help you in any way in the Charlotte or surrounding areas, we'd love to. Give us a call at 704-201-3860. Thanks and have a great day.